We started this journey with one question: who is Jesus? To this first question we then added a second: why did Jesus die? My own experience is that neither question ever really goes away. In exactly the same way as if I have any personal relationship with you, for instance, I will always be in the process of discovery about who you are and the nature of our relationship. I don't have all the answers about you. I certainly don't have all the answers about Jesus. Part of the reason for that is that, well, in your case, for instance, I'm not going to be sitting an exam on the subject of you. I'm not looking for answers as an end in themselves or to satisfy my curiosity. I want to keep finding out about who you are and how you relate to me so that our relationship can continue to move forward. It's just the same with Jesus. Which means, if we're going to continue on this journey, there's just one more question that we have to add to the other two. But before I unwrap that question and pop it on the table, we've heard some of the things that others have seen in Jesus. We've heard some of the ways that Jesus saw himself. It's probably time to hear about one of the ways in which he sees you and me. Because yes, he talks about us. After Jesus has risen from the dead, he appears physically amongst his disciples. And Thomas, one of the 12 disciples, isn't there the first time it happens, and so refuses to believe. And then Jesus comes amongst them again and addresses Thomas in particular. And in the conversation, which you'll find in John 20, verses 24 to 29, he has something to say about us. About people, in other words, who, unlike Thomas, never saw the water being turned into wine or the feeding of the 5,000. People who didn't have to watch the crucifixion, but then they didn't meet the risen Jesus physically either. What about people like us? Can we have a real relationship with Jesus too? Apparently we absolutely can. In fact, Jesus tells Thomas in verse 29, "Because you, Thomas, have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." Jesus sees us as blessed. It's a word you might translate as profoundly happy, if, without first setting eyes on him, we believe. And that's where the third question comes in. The one you have to ask in order for the relationship to move forwards. Because if we hear about Jesus, whether as the creator in the creation with the creatures, or as the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world, and we file all that away under, interesting, well, then we're not the ones that Jesus describes as truly happy, as blessed. Because we're not asking the question that a believer keeps asking. And that question is, so what? What do I do with the answers I'm getting? How do I respond to this Jesus? What happens now? So what? And that is the question that we'll be adding to the other two as this series approaches its conclusion over the next few weeks. Who is Jesus? Why did Jesus die? So what? Because who wants to settle for interesting when you could be truly blessed?